So we originally had the plan to put out about 3 videos or so a week, thinking that would be good, manageable, whatnot. And then sometimes life happens. If you follow us on Instagram, if you're friends with me on Facebook, if you follow my business page, you will know that this past week I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer does not run in my family. Cancer doesn't run in my family, except for one case of lymphoma and prostate cancer, but I'm not male, so, you know, that wouldn't affect me.
That'd be awkward.
It would be awkward. I would have some explaining to do.
I'd have explaining to do.
About a month ago, I found a lump. I assumed it was just a cyst. I guess it was a month ago. All the days are going into one day right now. I thought it was a cyst, so it would make sense to me. And then, given my age, I am 38, so I'm young to have breast cancer, especially with no family history.
Youngish.
I'm young. And despite the gray hairs, so I went to my lady doctor, and she's like, yeah, it feels like a cyst. She's like, but you know, we got to check it and make sure. And so a week later, I went to go get a mammogram and an ultrasound. And then they called me back again for another mammogram and another ultrasound. This is all in the same visit. And then they did a 3D mammogram.
Ultrasound.
No, they did a 3D mammogram. They have 4D. Is it 4D or 3Ds? No, it's 3D ultrasounds. But I did a 3D mammogram.
Okay.
And we're not really going to edit this, period. I'm just doing this video and we're going to put this out there. So you're going to hear a lot of rambling probably from both of us. So after that, they called me back to talk to the doctor. And she's like, it doesn't look good, and I'm really concerned about it. And I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, I just thought it was a cyst. And her response was, it's definitely not a cyst. So I'm like, okay. In the meanwhile, I'm texting him saying, hey, be prepared that this might be something other than a cyst. Still not thinking cancer, because again, it doesn't run in my family. So we went then, 2 days later, I went in for my biopsy, and then they were going to draw fluid from my lymph nodes because I had 3 abnormal lymph nodes in my armpit. Biopsy morning, I was a basket case because apparently I have an irrational fear of needles, and I didn't realize this. My mom probably knows this already, but I didn't really realize it at all. I've heard horror stories of biopsies. It's a giant needle going into your skin. It's just horrific. So I'm sitting here crying. I'm more afraid of this test than the actual results at this point. Biopsy was fine, painless. And then they did the lymph aspiration, I think is the technical term. And so they sent those off, and that was a Friday, and we had to wait all weekend. Normally it only takes 2 days to get the results back.
But it was Memorial Day weekend.
So we had to wait an extra day. I wasn't super nervous. At that point, I figured breast cancer is treatable. Most of them are anyways nowadays. So if it is that, then let's get started. Let's do the thing. So during that weekend, I did a lot of research. Our lifestyle, I try to go as natural as I possibly can before I do medication. So I did. I looked up alternative therapies to breast cancer. And while there were a few testimonials of people who were able to beat it, with naturally. Something about it just didn't sit right with me. And so I looked into the conventional therapies, doing the chemo and all that stuff, if that's what I was going to need to do. I felt confident in the system and the way that breast cancer research has just grown significantly. The success rates of those are really high, giving me as long of a life as I possibly can. So I felt comfortable doing conventional therapies for my cancer. But I also researched things on what I can do to support my body while going through chemo, because it is going to wreck my body, and I'm fully aware of that. I've also know at least enough about my gut, my immune system, all of those things, to be able to rebuild on the other side of this. So I was confident with my decision, and I wanted to know that. I wanted to do the research before I had a diagnosis so that I didn't do anything out of fear. And so I was confident going, all right, let's do the traditional therapies. Let's do what they know how to do, because the success rate is very high. And so Tuesday, we were out working in the yard, and I've had my phone with me all day long, just knowing that she could call at any moment, that my doctor, and she called and she said it is cancer. And then basically everything she said after that, I was just like, I don't even know. He's mouthing questions to me to ask, and I don't even remember what those questions are. I just knew that I had more tests coming. They were scheduling me for an MRI, and just to see where else it might be, if it's in the rest of my breast tissue, if it's just in that tumor, and so, but at this point in time, the pain is starting to, from the biopsy is waning. It's not that big a deal anymore. After the pain that I had after the medication wore off. But I'm still feeling things and feel like things are like inflamed inside there. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is just normal. It felt like everything was kind of growing. And then I was beginning to feel symptoms of breast cancer. Before this, I had zero symptoms. I feel healthier than I have felt in maybe 13 years. I live a healthy lifestyle, and I've done all the things that you're supposed to do to prevent breast cancer. So breast MRI, super fun if you've never had one. I might know what my goats will feel like when they're on the milking stand. It's just not, it was awkward, but it had to be done. So we got those results, a day later, and then it showed that the cancer had spread to the rest of my breast tissue and up into my pectoral muscle. My lymph test came back positive, meaning that I have cancer cells in those lymph nodes. Whether it's spread to my whole lymphatic system, we won't know for a while. But she did say that it is very treatable, so to not worry about that. And she said, and just because I have cancer cells in my lymphatic system does not mean, or it doesn't mean that I'm going to have cancer in there. It just may mean that my lymphatic system's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's fighting, and it's trying to protect the rest of my body. And then, so we got those results Thursday, right? Or Wednesday, one of those days. Friday, we met with a surgeon. And that was really overwhelming.
I've never heard nipple said so many times before.
He really tried hard to not.
I had the mask on so you couldn't see the face.
But I'm pretty sure you could tell by the eyes.
the middle school little boy was coming out in him, going hee hee hee.
She said nipple.
So Friday, I guess maybe I thought that I was gonna have maybe 6 to 8 weeks of chemo, and that kind of be it.
We found the full scope of what the best possible case solution of the treatment would be, and that was further followed up today when we met with the doctor that will be administering the treatment.
Yeah.
So the treatment plan looks as the following. We will be, I say we because I will be with every appointment.
Well, before
with
we
her.
get to the treatment plan, we probably need to go and explain the cancer.
Okay.
So the cancer itself is called an invasive ductal carcinoma. It is one of the most treatable forms of cancer. If you know about the HER2 score, mine is negative. Mine is also hormone positive, both estrogen and progesterone, which means that my hormones are causing it to grow. It's responsive to my hormones, so it's growing with my hormones are triggering growth. There is also another scoring thing that they do, and they don't do it on all tumors, but with the rate at which this came on, they went ahead and did it, and it's called a KI67 score. Mine is high. They have 3 grades for that, and I'm at grade 3. So my cancer cells are rapidly growing and spreading. So what I thought was agitation from the biopsy was not. It actually is growing, and I can feel it. And that's another reason why I'm actually now starting to feel the breast cancer symptoms. I can feel it up into here because it's in my muscle, so I can feel it up in the muscle. I can feel it down low. The tumor itself can be seen if I just have my arms down. And so, it wasn't agitated from the biopsy. It actually is growing. And so that's something to be aware of. It's an aggressive form of breast cancer. The good news is it's very responsive to treatment. Treatment should stop the growth immediately, and then it should start shrinking quickly. But that we'll figure out, because we're about to do the treatment plan. The treatment plan can change because I still have a CT and bone scan
in 2 days on Thursday.
Yeah, on Thursday. The CT and bone scan will let me know if it has spread to any other part of my body. They said from all the stuff that they've done, they have no reason to believe that it has. And so we're gonna go with that. I'm at least a very hopeful person. He is sometimes, and sometimes not. I like to look on the. I like to hold out hope until there is a none. So we do the CT scan. There is a lump on my neck that we just found. So they are going to scan also from here down to include my neck to make sure that that is nothing. The doctor did check it out today when we were talking with him, and he said it feels more like an infection in my hair follicle than my lymph node being swollen. So I'm glad that he's not concerned about it. It's one of the top doctors in this area, so I'm gonna go with what he says until we need to worry about that. And hopefully we don't have to worry about that.
But judging by the results of the CT and bone scan, as long as there are no new signs or surprises, what happens is this coming Monday, Sarah will receive her port for her chemotherapy.
You know what the girls wanted, or what Olivia said to name it? Because we're gonna name my port. It's gonna be on this side, right here, and we're gonna name it. You know what she said? Call it Portricia.
Portricia. Earlier she said she was going to name it, and I thought she was talking about the cancer. So I said, Hillary. And
Oh, I really didn't want to edit this video.
Oh, editing on. Okay, so we have the port on Monday, and then Wednesday she will start chemo. She will start with 2 chemotherapy, the hardest hitting ones, every 2 weeks for a total of 8 weeks, 4 treatments. She will lose her hair. That is something that they said you will lose your hair, and you will lose your hair before your second treatment.
But we're gonna pray that the eyebrows and the eyelashes stay on. Not very hopeful on that one, but we're gonna pray that it can. Right?
Yes.
And I have watched tutorials on how to draw eyebrows.
Which will be fun. One day she'll be excited, the other day she'll be curious, and
Oh, that was
I think
more
we should
mad.
have a migrating one that just
It just
each
kinda
day
migrates
it moves
up,
more and
goes
more.
up. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go to like, because my head will be shaved, it could go to like the back of my head.
But that's what we have as of now. We do ask for your continued thoughts and prayers. This is, again, not expected. This is completely out of the blue for us. We have stopped selling at the farmers markets due to this. We feel our time should be better spent with her, Sarah, healing, and spent time on the good days with the family and the kids, and just celebrating life. Just please just continue your prayers, and we'll keep you updated. But
We
more than
are
likely,
going to keep doing videos.
we will keep doing videos. You'll see probably more of my ugly mug than her beautiful face.
And maybe more of my bald head.
Yeah, the bald head. We definitely will show. We're gonna shave it after her first thing, so that way it's not huge clumps of massive hair falling out. So I think we should put that up on the YouTube video so you guys can see.
We will. People have asked for that to be videoed, so we'll be videoing that.
My idea as well is to time her swimming before the chemo to see her time in the pool, and then once she loses her hair, then we will time her to see if she actually speeds up.
I don't, maybe, hopefully chlorine would kill all that stuff, because
So-
I don't know that anybody would want to swim with me swimming in the
My
swimming pool.
best idea, although has been shot down, was to take the top off the Jeep when her hair starts falling off and just drive, and so you have massive clumps of hair falling off and hitting vehicles behind us just to freak them out, because I think that would be a rather sick way to do it. We'll be interested to see if she has any gang tattoos underneath her hair that she's been hiding all these years. So, do you have anything else to add?
No, but one of the things that we hope to show you all is maybe the realness behind this, but also that even though like life can seem bleak, that laughter really is the best medicine.
It is. And for all you healthcare workers out there that might be watching this, there has been an answer I've been trying to get an answer to, and that is that, like Roman nurses, healthcare workers, do they call it an IV, or do they just simply refer to it as 4? Please let us know, and thank you so much for watching us here on Sugar Maple Backyard Farm.